In a world where our measure of human barbarity is all too frequently being re-evaluated, what happened to two overseas backpackers at a remote South Australian beach sets a new, unthinkable low for horror. Salt Creek is a rugged and spectacular piece of coastline 200 kilometres southeast of Adelaide. But its very isolation made it the perfect setting for monster Roman Hines to try to satisfy his wicked fantasies. He lured the unsuspecting 23-year-olds, one from Brazil, one from Germany, to the beach and then kidnapped and attacked them. But how the young women fought to save themselves and each other shows courage can conquer evil. Tonight, for the first time, Beatrice and Lena tell their incredible story of escape from Salt Creek. And we have to warn you, this story has some confronting scenes and violence. It's Tuesday, the 9th of February 2016, and police are responding to a chilling cry for help. As this home video shows, it started out as a regular road trip, a friendly stranger giving two young backpackers a ride. They think they're safe. But just moments later, these two women are fighting for their lives. What happened at this abandoned and remote campsite at the hands of this man, Roman Hines, is terrifying.
He is evil. In the worst kind. He's another Ivan Milat.
And for all its beauty, Salt Creek, 2 hours southeast of Adelaide, was his hunting ground.
When you get out there, you're middle of nowhere, needle in a haystack. And the chances of two girls that survived, him caught, the chances of that happening are really, really remote.
But the survival of Beatrice from Brazil and Lena from Germany didn't come without an incredible fight. Worthy of a Hollywood movie. Roman Hines didn't count on you two, did he? He didn't count on how strong you were.
No. He expected that we both would be weak and he can just do what he wants with us.
He didn't know that he was in fact facing two Amazonian women.
Yeah.
who were much stronger than him.
Yeah.
I think we were just smarter.
Smarter?
Yeah, exactly. Just at that moment, we knew that we had to fight, we had to do whatever was needed to survive somehow.
I think it's kind of what everyone thinks. You just think of the beach and the sun like 24/7.
Australia has long been the go-to destination for free-spirited backpackers keen on adventure.
I think Australia is, of course, a safe place.
So follow the ocean back to your heart, follow your fears back to
We have plenty of sun, surf, and in the minds of backpackers, not so many serial killers.
No, yeah, are there serial killers here? Gosh.
I still wouldn't get into a car, like hitchhike by myself, but if I do it with someone else or stuff like that, I would definitely do that, yeah.
Lena too thought Australia safe, even after watching our own backpacker horror film, Wolf Creek, which she considered pure fiction.
More tourists. Where you from?
Tina, help!
Ah, shut the fuck up!
I watched it with a friend together and I remember that I was telling him after the movie was finished that I said to him, this is horrible, but it's not real. This will never ever happen to anyone. Like, not like this. And then, yeah.
And then 1 month later...
Yeah, something like that happened.
And it happened to you.
Yeah, so it's quite unbelievable.
Both 23 at the time, Beatrice and Lena had always dreamed of visiting Australia. Lena was on a gap year and Beatrice was completing her nursing studies. Both were keen to see as much as they could.
My first adventure in my life, and I really wanted to do it. So I wasn't really that worried, and I knew there would be a lot of backpackers anyway.
One of those backpackers would be Beatrice, who had also never before travelled on her own. Just 1 week after meeting new Aussie boyfriend James, she was on her way to Adelaide.
Everyone says that's a good experience to travel by yourself. And I thought, like, I'm gonna be in Australia, I'm gonna meet people on the way, it's like a lovely country. Just gonna try.
And James, did you think it was safe?
Yeah. Things happen. I mean, everyone knows Ivan Milat and those sorts of people, but, you know, it's almost like a myth, really. We never expect it to happen.
In Adelaide, Beatrice meets Lena for the first time and learns they have the same plans, a desire to see the Great Ocean Road. They just need a ride, and so, as so many young travellers do, Beatrice posts an ad on Gumtree looking for someone to drive them from Adelaide to Melbourne.
I got two main responses. First, a guy that it was the one that I wanted to go, but the night before he had a problem with his car, so I had to cancel with him. And that's when I called to my second option, which was Roman.
Did you get any sort of sense of warning, any sense of danger at all in those initial dealings with him?
No, I just thought he was a bit impatient. That's the feeling that I had, because he was like sending me a message like, just be nice with me, just send me a message, just answer if you want to go or not. But I didn't have so many options.
Tuesday, 9th of February last year, and Lena and Beatrice arrive at the designated meeting spot. 59-year-old Roman Hines is already there waiting.
The first impression that I had, it was weird because he looked like older than what I was expecting.
I was thinking the same. I thought like, okay, Beatrice is here too, and that made me feel safer than it would normally do.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sure if I would have gone with him all alone. Like, yeah.
Yeah, me too.
What the girls did not know was they were now with a man who was dangerously volatile, a man who planned to hurt them. This looks like you in happier times.
Yes, it was. Actually, it was a fantastic time. You know, this is before he started going a bit weird.
Artist Sylvia Clark fell in love with a man she found charming, but very soon encountered another side to him. So here you are, happy? 6 months later.
I'm black and blue. And heartbroken.
Sylvia says these photos are evidence of a vicious attack by Roman, just 1 month before he picks up Beatrice and Lena. Her account is harrowing.
I must have went into a deep sleep. And then I woke up. This hand was already tied up. My left hand was already tied up. And I just said, "What the hell are you doing?" And then he just swore at me and told me to shut up. And then he started biting me. He kept constantly biting me, and then he was grabbing me like I was a dirty rag and just yanking at me, my legs, trying to get my legs apart. And in the end, I just lay there. And I just thought to myself, if I keep doing this, it could come out worse. Then when he'd finished, he just rolled over, left me tied up, just rolled over, turned his back, and I was left laying there.
He didn't say anything to you?
Didn't say a single word to me.
Too ashamed to go to police, Sylvia ended the relationship and luckily escaped a planned camping trip to Salt Creek. What do you think might have happened to you if you'd gone with him on that camping trip to Salt Creek?
Well, the way he would, like that, flick, instantly, from weighing one person to another, I probably wouldn't have come back.
Blissfully unaware of his violence against Sylvia, Beatrice and Lena are now 2 hours into their drive with Hines. Without discussing it with the girls, he pulls off at Salt Creek to set up camp, miles from anywhere and anyone.
He just went there and started setting up the tent. And there didn't like any special place. It's just a beach in the middle of nowhere, no one. So I don't know why here, you know?
At what point do you think he planned that?
Now, I think he planned before he see my ads, you know. He was already chasing someone to do something bad.
Coming up.
I can just remember it so well.
In the middle of nowhere, Hines becomes a monster.
He grabbed me. And then I realized that it wasn't a joke.
His terrifying plan is revealed in chilling detail. What happens next?
Oh my God, he wants to kill us.
That's next on 60 Minutes. Coming back now, what are the thoughts going through your mind?
It's always a strange feeling coming back here. It's really clear still. I can just remember it so well.
No wonder Salt Creek will always be seared in Lena's memory. What happened in this remote place in February last year to her and fellow backpacker Beatrice was horrific. But as Beatrice happily and innocently captured, it started out as a simple road trip, with Adelaide man Roman Hines giving them a lift. What was that drive like?
He was quiet most of the time. I felt that he was worried about us having a nice trip, you know. He was concerned, like, let's take some pictures. I know you guys are tourists.
The girls were unaware of the menace Hines kept hidden. On their way to the Great Ocean Road, he decided to pull into Salt Creek, a remote fishing destination he knew well.
Most of the year, this is all filled with water.
He took them to Tea Tree Crossing to set up camp. By now, Lena was worried.
I remember that I asked Beatrice, like, do you think he's all right? And she was like, oh, he's a little bit weird, but I think it's gonna be okay. Yeah.
Masquerading as a mild and helpful fellow traveller, Hines soon had the camp ready. So after the camp was set up, what did you do, Lena?
I was pretty tired on that day, and I actually just wanted to sleep. So I went in the car. That's where I finally slept. And Beatrice and Roman, they were like setting up the stove, and they were cooking something together, and yeah, sitting on the table.
Just like this is laid out now?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
all in this sort of space.
Yeah.
How did Roman Hines convince you to move away from the campsite?
He convinced me that there were kangaroos in the back, and he said that he saw some footprints. And he said, like, would you like to go to see? And I said, yes, why not, you know?
Hines's twisted plan was now in action. Trustingly, Beatrice followed him into the sand dunes, unaware he was carrying a knife, hammer and ropes. There were no kangaroos, and Beatrice wanted to return, still unaware of the danger.
Once I turned around to go towards the campsite, that's when he grabbed me. And then at the beginning, like the first, I think, split of seconds, I just thought it was a joke. I just didn't get. And then so like, no, it's no fun. What are you doing? Like, and then I realized that it wasn't a joke. You know, it wasn't.
How had he grabbed you?
He was on my back and he put his arm around my neck and put me down.
What did he do then?
Then he grabbed a knife that he had on his back and he put on the sand. And then he got some pieces of ropes and tried to tie my arms and my legs, my ankles. But once I realized that he was trying to do, I grabbed the rope and throw them away.
That's a great moment of defiance. Did he react in any way?
He said to me, either you make it easy or I'm gonna break your arm. So I said, okay, I'm not gonna piss him off. I'm gonna just do it. It wasn't the right moment to piss him off.
And I know this must be painful, but if you can, tell me what happens after that. What happens next?
Then, like, he was in control of me, you know, in that moment, just, I couldn't do anything else, so he was turning me and he ripped my bikinis and started like trying to kiss me and lick me, you know.
And I understand he did get angry. I mean, he physically hurt you too. What prompted that and what did he do?
I was trying to talk with him and convince him that wasn't a good thing. It didn't please him, so he started punching me like, shut up, you know, I don't want to hear what you have to say.
And did that stop you?
No, it was like, and it's weird, but I didn't feel pain at that moment with the punch, you know, because I had so much adrenaline inside of me that I just was focusing, like, what can I do to survive?
Were you sure at that point that you would survive?
No, it passed through like several moments in my mind that I was gonna die. And I even imagined my mom coming there to see my body, like to, you know. That's the image that I had, but I didn't think about giving up at any moment. You know, I just thought it would be really unlikely for me to survive. I was in the middle of nowhere. He was there. I was tired. What could I do? Like nothing.
You must have been terrified.
Yeah, I felt like I was in a horror movie. You know the end. You don't need to watch till the end. You know what's gonna happen.
Beatrice's next move most likely saved her life. Incredibly, instead of fighting Roman, she tricked him, persuading him they could continue with whatever he wanted back in the comfort of the camp.
I had to convince him that I was on his side, you know, so I said, like, you don't need to do this. If you want to do something, just ask me. We can go to the tent, we can relax there. You don't need to do this. And when we were going towards the camp, I felt good. But for some reason, when we were getting close to the camp, it felt that he changed his mind and he went towards the other direction. And at this moment, I thought, that's my final chance. Because if you go far away, I don't know what's gonna happen. And that's when I screamed for Lena. I had just one chance. Lena! And that's it. And then he started punching me and he threw me on the sand. Lena!
I heard the scream and I went around the car. And
you knew that it was from this direction? Or
no, it came from the left direction, definitely.
That Lena heard her name above the wind and the waves was a miracle in itself. Now she had to find exactly where the single scream came from.
I saw them. She was lying in the sand dunes, naked, and Roman was standing over her.
Let her go! Let her go!
I was like, oh my God, this can't be true. Then after the shock moment, I got really angry suddenly. I was like, what the hell does he think he is? Like, he can't do this. And so I went in their direction and I shouted at him something like leave her alone, get away from her, let her go. And he turned around to me and he said something really strange that I didn't get immediately in that moment. He said something like, I just wanted to try her. And then he was coming after me, and I was running back to the car because I knew I don't want to be close to this guy anymore. Like, I knew he was like planning on doing something, but I had no idea what exactly.
And I was trying to warn her, you know, like he has an axe. I didn't know what was it. And I was like, just run away, he has an axe, a hammer. I didn't know what was it. And like she was there, so brave, trying to help me, and I just, no, run away, Lynn.
Having to leave Beatrice bound, Lena races back to the car. She's desperate to get to her phone to call for help.
I think I was even telling him, like, I just want to grab my bag and get out of here. He was like, yeah, get your fucking bag. So I opened the door to get the bag, which was here, and I tried to grab it, but didn't work out because he came from behind. And that's when I got the hard smash with the hammer. I was like, oh my God, that's it. He's gonna bury me in the sand or something. So I thought that's it pretty much. I didn't know what he had like hit me with because I couldn't see it immediately, but I thought that's the end because the smash was so hard.
Bleeding profusely, Lena is now fighting for her life as she tries to get the hammer off this 6'6" enraged man. He manages to hit her 3 more times before she escapes him. He has a hammer and a knife. What do you think he was planning on doing?
His intentions with those tools was to harm us, for sure.
Yeah, like after the hammer attack, it was clear. I was just thinking, oh my God, he's just totally insane. Like, he wants to kill us.
Yeah.
Coming up, incredible courage.
She saved me again at this moment.
Whose idea was it to go separate ways? And an unbelievable chase.
I mean, look at you, you're little, and he's got this 4-wheel drive and he's chasing you.
How Lena outsmarted the madman.
So I pretty much jumped on the bonnet. He was really angry.
That's next on 60 Minutes. "24-year-old Lena considers herself lucky to be alive. This could well have been her final resting place if the cruel and perverse Roman Hines had his way. She stopped his sexual attack on her friend Beatrice, but now she was his target. How Lena survives is extraordinary. If you didn't fight back, where would you be today?
Probably not alive, I guess.
Her fight for survival went on for hours. As the injured Lena runs away from Hines, he jumps into his 4-wheel drive to chase her down. Lena is not only trying to get away, she also wants to find and help Beatrice.
I wasn't sure where Beatrice was at that time. So I was yelling for her, like, where are you, where are you?
I don't know where exactly he was. I think he went to his car to chase us. And at this moment, she untied my arms. So she saved me again at this moment. And that's when I have the opportunity to survive.
Whose idea was it to go separate ways?
I think it was, yeah, just a natural decision that we sort of both had together, you know.
It was clear somehow.
Yeah, that we had to split up.
That you'd have a better chance at escaping. But which direction to take was another fateful decision. Beatrice went left, up into the sand dunes, and Lena right. Naked and frightened, Beatrice hid in the bushes, but Lena was in full sight.
Then he turned around and he started chasing me, and I was running in all different directions pretty much, but on this flat area here.
You must have been terrified again.
Yes.
So scared. Yeah. I mean, look at you, you're little, and he's got this four-wheel drive and he's chasing you.
It's huge, the car, and I didn't really know what to do. The only chance was just running away as fast as I could.
Weaving between scrubby salt bushes, Lena ran for nearly a kilometre, with Heinz constantly on her tail, intent on running her down. It's hard to imagine her terror.
What freaked me out was, A, there were small footprints, you see, so it was not much of a girl. It was obviously a small person. But the footprints were like 4 feet apart. And as clear as a bell, that's someone running for their life.
The hunt ended here. Lena had nowhere else to run.
He finally reached me with the car and just bumped into me pretty much in my back.
With the bumper bar?
Yeah.
So you're running and he's got you?
Yeah.
So how many times did he do that to you?
He did that, like, I think 4 times, and always bumping into me with the bull bar. And then I flew away in the sand, but always stood up again.
Did you think, this is the spot where I will die?
Yeah. I thought I'm going to die. I was really sure about it. Like, I already imagined myself dying here, and that's why I didn't want to give up in the end. Because I was so determined that I didn't want to die here. I really don't want to die. To die on this spot, not here, not now.
Physically at her weakest, Lena now makes a truly remarkable decision.
I realized that I got weaker and weaker. I knew I couldn't go on for this for very long. So I remember when he turned around the next time and was facing me with the car, I thought, like, okay, I have to do something because I can't keep on going. And so I pretty much ran towards the car and just jumped on the bonnet. And I was holding myself on the antenna of the car and then pushing myself up on the bonnet and then straight going onto the roof because I thought, like, okay, I'm safe on the roof, he can't get on the roof.
I'm laughing because I can't help it, but it's because you're so extraordinary. Like, how did you think to do that? How could you do that physically. It's incredible.
I felt like a bit like in a movie. It felt like James Bond a bit.
What was Roman Heinz's reaction to you doing that?
He was really angry, like really angry, and was shouting at me, "Get off the fucking roof, get off the fucking roof." He said it like 10 times, but I was really angry as well. He tried to climb on the roof and was trying to hit me with the hammer again. And I remember I tried to like kick in his face.
To be in this situation where this man is clearly trying to get you, you're bleeding profusely.
It was like, yeah, like a blood rain. It like kept on dripping onto the roof. That's when I knew like it's really serious, because it just kept on dripping, didn't stop.
Like blood rain, you said?
Yeah, blood rain.
Unable to shout her down, the furious Heinz tries everything to dislodge Lena from his roof, driving first along the beach and then through the sand dunes.
He was like driving like a madman through everything. It was quite rough, like being on a rodeo. That's how I felt like.
Petrified Heinz would be back, Beatrice stays hidden behind bushes until, unexpectedly, her luck changes. She sees another car, makes sure it's not Roman's, before desperately flagging down the driver and his friends. Can you describe the image they would have seen coming at them out of the sand dunes?
Yes, like a girl, naked, running, waving for them. And I think when they saw me, they thought that was weird. But once I got in the car and I started screaming, they saw that was serious.
The young, freaked-out fisherman called Adam Stewart, the owner of the local and only roadhouse in the area.
There's some girl on the beach has been raped, was the first thing he said. There's basically some guys raped and bashing some girls on the beach, and just panic, like just an extreme level of help.
While Adam called police and prepared to head to the beach, Beatrice convinced her rescuers to search for Lena.
Please, you have to find her.
And they want me to like take me back to the entrance to save me, but then I said no, my friend's still there. And they agreed with me to try to look for her, you know? And I think that's the moment when indirectly I saved her back, you know? Because Roman knew that there was someone else chasing him.
It's an incredible story of survival. Never did the small but feisty Lena give up. Even though she was still at the mercy of this monster, mentally Lena was stronger, setting the rules that would lead to her freedom.
He was like, "Get off the roof, like, I'm not driving any further with you on the roof." And he said, "This is ridiculous." I remember that he said that, and I was like, why is it ridiculous? Like, why should I come off the roof? You tried to kill me, like, why should I even trust you? So I told him, I only come off the roof if you throw away your weapons. He had 2 hammers and there was a knife.
Remarkably, he listened to her. And perhaps seized by sympathy, Hines handed Lena her cap to help stem the blood gushing from her scalp. But the kindness is short-lived. With Lena now in the front seat, he races up the beach past another group of fishermen.
Roman had just driven through the campsite, and one of the boys in particular had a really good view. Noticed that in the passenger seat was a young girl covered in blood, and all you could see was an arm waving. And then they roared off up the beach.
Waving as in waving for help?
It was more so flapping out of their car. Not a lot of energy in it.
Despite their own fear, the young men got back in their car and followed, finally cornering Hines in the sand dunes.
And it's a chilling phone call. The kids on the phone just start going mental. That's like, we can see him, Adam, we can see the car, we can see him. And sound on that voice coming through that phone, those kids were scared, rightly so. And I'm like, where's the girl? Can you see the girl? No, we can only see him.
I finally opened the door. It was like, please, Lena, get back into the car. And I said, no, I'm going to the fisherman now. He looked really confused, like as if he didn't know what to do really with this kind of situation. And then I pretty much just ran away, and I turned around a couple of times, but he didn't come after me.
It's been described as being so bad that those men didn't know if you were a man or a woman.
Yeah, I had no idea. That's what they told me later. And that's why they were so scared and didn't want to come towards me.
Roman Hines didn't stick around for Lena's rescue and fled the scene in his four-wheel drive. With sunlight fading fast and hundreds of kilometres of sand dunes to cover, it became a race against time.
From that moment on, it was just a hunt. We were after him, you know. We knew the girls were safe. We just got to find this guy.
Coming up, the hunter becomes the hunted.
It was ending there. It was ending one way or another. We were just going to...
What, you were just going to ram him?
Yeah.
And one more chilling twist. 4 years ago, Roman Hines stopped here at the Roadhouse. Witnesses saw him with a young blonde woman they assumed was a backpacker. That's next on 60 Minutes. Like old friends, Beatrice and Lena greet one another with a special joy. But only they know how extraordinary and difficult their journey has been. So has the awful experience you guys shared affected your interest in travel at all?
Nah.
Bonded forever, Lena is catching up with Beatrice in her hometown of Sao Paulo. Brazil is far less safe than Australia, but reflecting on last year's attack, Beatrice and Lena both blame the man, Roman Hines, not the place.
I still like Australia, definitely. I still love it. And yeah, this hasn't changed what I feel for Australia, because I know it has nothing to do with Australia. It's just a bad man. I was unlucky that I met him, and it has nothing to do with the country, really.
I think that the way that everyone helped me there, that's what makes Australia so special, you know, because this could happen anywhere, but maybe people wouldn't have supported me as much as the Australians did with me.
The brutal attack showed the worst Australia can offer, a depraved man making the most of a lonely and wild stretch of coast. But it also revealed the very best of human spirit, incredible strength and bravery.
So we're driving down, we're just looking for a silver four drive.
No one knows Salt Creek better than Adam Stewart, and so police recruited him to help catch Roman Hines, who was on the run. The hunter was now the hunted.
We'd only gone about a K and we could see this vehicle parked up on the sandhill. I guess that's when everything got really real, because it already was, but now it's like, there he is.
Hines takes off, but then gets stuck in the sand dunes.
He's just sitting there with his hands on the wheels and he's just stared at us.
So you're sitting in your car?
Yeah, I'm sitting in my car.
Staring at him?
Yeah, I'm sitting there, hands on gear stick, foot's on accelerator, foot's on clutch, because we don't know what he's going to do. We don't know if he's going to pull something out the window. We don't know if he's going to take off. If he moved an inch, he was just going to get T-boned. Like, that was, it was ending there. It was ending one way or another. We're just going to...
What, you were just going to ram him?
Yeah. This stops it.
This was the critical and anxious moment they'd all anticipated.
Tuck your legs up, okay? And if you kick me, I'm going to belt you, all right?
But when it finally came, as this footage of his arrest shows, the fight had gone out of Roman Hines. The sun had set on his freedom and the terror he'd wielded on this beach.
When he put those cuffs on him, you couldn't imagine what it was like to have that relief, to know that that guy's there, he's now got the cuffs on, there's no one else. Like, he can't hurt anyone else, not today.
Hines had already done enough damage. Both girls were flown to hospital with Lena unconscious for the trip.
She was unconscious, like really full of blood, and I was feeling so guilty to see her like that because I invited her for the trip. I put her in that situation, you know, and I feel like, oh my God, she's gonna be so mad at me. She's never gonna forgive me. And I was all the time crying because I was so concerned about her. But once we got into the hospital, I hold her hands. I held her hands, and then she said, "Beatrice," with such a sweet voice. And in that moment, I knew, like, she forgave me.
There was no moment where I was ever angry with her. I was just glad that I could be there, like I could help her out, I could save us, and so there was like no need to be angry, really.
Beatrice, when you look at Lena, do you see your saviour?
Yeah, I do. Of course, like, I think that's basically the first thing that I told her, like, that she saved my life, you know. So, like, she saved me, for sure.
As news of the attack travelled around Australia, Hines' ex-girlfriend Sylvia Clark was devastated. She instantly recognised his car and remembered his plans to go to Salt Creek.
I was shocked. Absolutely shocked. Then I went into a meltdown. And I thought if I'd have said something, these girls would have been saved, because they probably would have locked him up.
Did you have any doubt at that point that he had done what he was being accused of?
No doubt at all. I just thank God, and that's the first thing in my mind, thank God that there was someone on the beach, because there's no way in this world those girls would have got away otherwise. I have no doubt in my mind that he'd have killed them.
Police found a library of sadistic porn on Hines' computer. They also convinced Sylvia to come forward as a witness after she told them he raped her. But at trial, while the judge agreed there had been a violent sexual encounter, she didn't accept it was rape. When the judge came down with the decision...
I don't think there's a word that I could find or create to describe what that did to me. Do they think I'd put those bruises on myself because I didn't go to the police and report him, so that all went against me? It's so unfair.
But Roman Hines has been found guilty of indecent assault in the past against 2 backpackers in 2014. There are another 12 women who made a lucky escape, the backpackers he offered lifts to in the lead-up to the Salt Creek attack. If they'd accepted his ride, they too could have been fighting for their lives, or worse.
None of us doubt that this is the end of the story. Like, we're all 100% sure there's more to it. Just what comes and when it comes and how it comes, we don't know.
Adding to the creepiness of Salt Creek is the fear it may hold a terrible secret. 4 years ago, Roman Hines stopped here at the Roadhouse to stock up on supplies for another fishing and camping trip at the beach. Witnesses saw him with a young blonde woman they assumed was a backpacker. 2 days later, when Roman Hines left Salt Creek and again stopped here on his way out, there was no sign of the young woman.
Where do you think she is today?
As much as I hate to say it, I think she's under the sand somewhere.
Out there in Salt Creek?
Over on that beach somewhere.
Without knowing who she is, it's difficult, but police told Adam they would investigate the woman's whereabouts. For Beatrice, nearly 2 years on, life is in Brazil.
And would you describe yourself as happy at the moment? Is it a good life?
I think there is your ups and downs, you know, but generally I think I'm in a good stage of my life where I can travel.
But Beatrice also knows she's been deeply affected by the perversions of Roman Hines, as does her partner, James. What is your greatest concern about what she's been through? What do you worry about most?
I feel like for her, a piece of her has been stolen, you know, and it's just not fair for her. I just want her happiness, really, and I'm concerned about the difficulty she has, just day to day.
I prefer not to be outside after sunset, because I just don't feel comfortable. I don't feel safe anymore. If I see someone on the street, I start thinking that they might be following me, or it's just sometimes it's a bit crazy, but I just can't control.
The last time Beatrice and Lena spent time together was earlier this year at the trial of Roman Hines in Adelaide. They were once again united and courageous, as Hines was found guilty of all charges against him, apart from the attempted murder of Lena. He will spend at least 17 years behind bars, where, if he has any insight, he'll forever regret taking on these 2 phenomenal women.
This one is for you.
When you think of Roman Hines today, what do you think?
I just think he is just like a sick person. I'm happy that he won't harm other people, so I'm happy. That's it, you know. I don't want to have any bad feelings, because any bad feeling that I have, it's gonna affect me and just me. So it's not worth it.
Did you know that you had that fight within you? Did you know that when it came down to having to save yourself, that you would be so good at it?
No. I had no idea that this was inside me, that I had such a strength and energy to do all those things.
Such a strength and energy.
Yeah. So that's a good point about the whole story that I found out about myself, that I'm able to do to do something like that in a really difficult situation.